Hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So, Libras, let's go ahead and we will take a look at, is there new love on the horizon for Libra? First off, we have got, the devil, but also with the Four of Wands. First off, we have a character who's worried that there isn't. That's more of the fear factor I'm trying to attract, but it's very hard to attract something that we want when we're afraid that it doesn't exist. Okay. Well, that's actually, by the way, special shout out to Shell. Um, just, it's really awesome. So many of you guys are such amazing supporters of the channel, and thank you so much. We have the magician. Okay. So this message is all about how to manifest. Is there new love? Well, of course, there's always going to be opportunities for anything new in our life to come in, anything that we want. But this is addressing the fact that there can be blockages. Like, but what if I meet somebody and it's toxic? What if I don't find what I'm looking for? What if I meet the right person, but they're already with somebody else? What if, what if? And it says, hey, why don't we just have a little pause here for Libra and go, all Libra has to do is just think about what they want to attract into their world and start, sending out that, much more positive vibe, right? I want love. I want new love. I want something positive in my life. So let me go ahead and welcome that in. Wild card, Two of Wands. Then all of a sudden, it's like, not only is there an opportunity for new love, there's a lot of different opportunities for new love. You notice that we have a difference between city and country lifestyle. I do think that Libra has to get a little bit more focused on what style of life they themselves want to live, and then what kind of person they would like to match with. Like, let's put it this way. I am kind of a country bumpkin at heart, right? I'm an outdoorsy earth mama, right? But I also do love to go to, like, classical historical cities and walk through museums. And I, like to go listen to, symphonies and orchestras and all kinds of things. But I also like punk music, and I also like, all kinds of, like, I'm a little all over the map. But what's the bulk of my life going to be made up of? That's maybe first and foremost, I'm probably always going to want nature around me. So that's like a good way to describe who am I at the baseline. On the 80% of my life, where am I going to spend my days? Where is my housing situation going to take me? What quality of lifestyle am I going to mostly choose? And for the other 20% of my life, those are the things that I'll go out and I'll travel here and I'll go to these events and I'll go to these museums. But I think if we apply that same thought process to meeting a partner, it's like, who is Libra? What lifestyle does Libra really want to live? If Libra's like, I want long-term partnership, but I'm going into places where it's more like a hookup joint, it could be hard to find somebody. I'm not saying that, obviously you can't meet your perfect person who's long-term oriented at a place that, seems more casual, but it might be more productive for Libra to begin thinking about what quality of person they want to meet because of what quality of lifestyle they actually want to have, and then manifest from there, and then go to those kinds of places. If I'm, like, if Libra is saying, I want to live in a big city, maybe right now I'm in the country, but I see myself living in a big city, then maybe Libra needs to, like, intentionally start putting themselves out there in scenarios where they'd meet more big city people, spend some time in a city, go and explore, get a chance to meet people in different walks of life, if that's the walk of life that you want to find yourself in. This just says Libra has choices, but what they want and who they are is going to be directly related to who they attract for new love. This Libra is very attractive. Knight of Cups, very attractive. If Libra wants to put on their slinky dress or their nice, suit, or, whatever their style preferred, choice of clothing is, and this is what they want, it is out there for Libra. Libra can attract whomever or whatever they want, as long as they are dressing the part that really represents their true life. So what kind of person does Libra want to attract? what kind of person is Libra. Show that real version, embrace who Libra really is, be that sexy, alluring, beautiful person that they actually are. And that will probably attract exactly what they're looking for. I'm glad I went with the concept that maybe Libra is like, they'd like somebody who's more, has lived in different, maybe international cities, has maybe, a big city lifestyle, or wants to go out to social engagements. Libra could have just as easily said, oh, I want to meet somebody who wants to stay home on the ranch. Instead, in this storyline, it looks like Libra might be, interested in attracting somebody who's going to wine and dine them at fancy restaurants. We dress up really nice. We go to 5-star places. Then Libra can send out that vibe by being that person. That's a real version of Libra. I want to be 5-star, high quality, whatever. So maybe I'm going to go to the nicer restaurants, bars, whatever, go to different events, dress my best. And that's where I'm going to attract and meet the person that is really going to match the version of me of what I want my life to look like. The most important thing here is the authenticity and freedom from fear. We keep seeing Libra very, very well dressed, but they seem to be worried, what if I don't attract a long-term partner? And I would just say, because I think Libra might be, of course, Libra being the scales, being balance, I'm thinking Libra is maybe a little country, but also classy, and I'm not saying country isn't classy, but it might be like, come on, this is very well dressed, very fancy, it's hard to walk in country roads and grass and pastures in those stiletto heels, right? But I'm thinking maybe Libra can do both. But I still think when it boils down to where is Libra going to find new love, if they want this whining and dining and kind of city lifestyle, then that's where they need to go to meet it. 3 of Cups. This could also indicate that Libra could meet somebody through friends of friends. Oftentimes, our social networks are where we meet people. But again, we still have to go to the events, go to the places where we'll be introduced to other people. So Libra really has to, at this point in time, manifest opportunities to go out and do enjoyable things. I kind of think for this storyline, love is a major topic for our Libra, and they aren't finding what they want, but it's so kind of refreshing to say that's just because Libra didn't approach this the right way yet. That's all. 2 of Pentacles. Again, we do see our Libra. I think part of them is a homebody, part of them likes a simple life, and then part of them wants like flashy romance. Even here, they're all kind of dressed as country gals. So I'm wondering if this is the difficulty for Libra, because maybe they are both things. They are little country. They're a bunch of, like splashy, sexy, well-dressed, well put together, which again would go very accurately with a Libra. Libras tend to, take very good care of themselves, very, very attractive, but can be comfortable in 2 vastly different arenas in life. And we keep seeing Libra as like femme fatale, but also like the homemaker and the, great mama. Now, I don't read for genders, so bear in mind we could flip this over and put this as masculines just as easily. This could always be talking about same-sex couples. But Libra does have to be more of a conscious action taker when they envision, who do I want to meet? How do I want to be treated? How am I going to meet the kind of person that I want? I don't think that Libra is going to meet somebody just randomly. I think Libra is going to meet someone through other individuals. And I think it'll be nice because that could be like, depending on if Libra has friends in all walks of life, that could be where they are able to meet somebody who's like, maybe they live in the country, but they meet somebody from the city. Maybe Libra's like, oh, I have friends that live there. I have friends that live in this other lifestyle. And so I can interact with more people, expand my social circle. I keep getting this vibe that Libra wants somebody who is very like home oriented, but also somebody that is very romantic, and they want the best of both worlds. And I can't really say for sure which lifestyle Libra would prefer. They want to be dated and date someone in a more like grandiose way, but then I think deep down there's still a little bit more like family oriented, a little bit more, I don't know, they're definitely like peaceful. They don't want to go out and party every night. This Libra is two things. Hanged Man. It's really hard for them to decide which version of my life do I cherish more. Hanged Man is like, I got to see things through a different lens. I think the only barrier to Libra finding the person that they really want to be with is how do I attract the one that I want? Because I have to figure out which lifestyle is like the 80% of what my life is really made up of, but I also want somebody who suits me in that other 20% of me. Like I say, if Libra's like 80% country, 20% city, how will I meet somebody who's that same ratio so we really like merge? And I think the step one is just let me identify that in myself. I'm 80% this, 20% that. Okay, now that I know that about myself, it changes the way I, think about matching with a partner. Do we have somebody on the horizon for our Libra? High Priestess, heck yeah. Libra knows it too. That's maybe why Libra's been a little bit like uncomfortable. Like, I know that I'm about to meet somebody, but God, will they be the right one? I don't want to invest in somebody who's the wrong one. That's probably why they're doing so much of this subconscious thinking, because Libra's real intuitive in this story. They already know there's somebody coming their way. Oh, okay. So we have a judgment card. Now, this was asking about, is there new love on the horizon for Libra? The judgment card is where we resurrect something. I'm almost thinking that this is more like Libra willing to try love again. And they already know there could be a Scorpio coming back in, but it could also be that Libra's going to have to cross a threshold of either encountering an ex and being able to say no to them, or stepping across the threshold of what if I'm going to date somebody in a totally different realm. I'm just going to go ahead and put this out there because it's what I'm truly thinking of when I look at this. I wonder if Libra has gone back to their roots a little bit and asked themselves these important questions about who am I? What would I best match with? Am I country or am I city? And I think Libra might be a little surprised to discover that deep down, the original version of them. Look, sometimes we're born in, let's say Libra was born in a small town. They always wanted out of the small town. They thought they loved the city life. They go out and they live in the city life for a bunch of years. And now they're realizing, you know what? At this next phase of my life, I'm realizing I actually want to go back to my country roots. I want to live in a smaller town. It could be that's why this big question is coming up, because this, we're trying to talk about love here, but we actually keep getting a story about who Libra is, which I think is a great message. And it certainly is more thought-provoking, right? Because Libra is asking themselves, who am I? I want love, but who am I? Who am I going to match with? I can feel somebody's on the horizon. Yeah, somebody is on the horizon. There is new love, but it happens to be the person that Libra will end up staying with. But I do think, keep in mind, we manifest our own outcomes in life, and we can choose any pathway that we want. But when we're ready for something, that's when we tend to get what we have cosmically, ordered from the universe. But how much better might it be to be cognizant of, here's who I am, here's actually what I want. Let me acknowledge my deeper desire, because I think Libra is going to wind up attracting somebody that is more, I'll say, balanced for their truest frequency. So if Libra says that they want city life and lots of, hot dates, in truth, all of this kind of keeps pointing us in this direction that deep down what Libra wants is this stable, earthy, more family oriented. Like 80% of Libra is more that kind of person. I think Libra could be surprised by who they're actually attracted to, almost like Libra has been looking in the wrong places to meet the right person. Libra can be sexy, can dress with the best, can be in those little slinky black dress, can go to high stakes casinos, can live the 5-star lifestyle. But I think at the end of the day, I think this Libra is very like honestly, I'd rather like wear really comfortable, clothes and be out in the garden and be barefoot sometimes, or, you know, just live in a smaller community, or maybe interact a little bit more personally one on one. It's fun to go out and party and have 5-star experiences, but the bulk of what it seems like Libra really enjoys when they think it out and they lay out, where have I had the greatest enjoyment, with those few close relationships, with those sweet moments that I've shared with my, maybe my babies when they were little. Libra could be grown and have grown kids by this point in time, but they're reflecting and saying the best moments of my life have been the ones that have been very personal, not the ones where I'm dressed up super nice and it's super sexy and it's, that's fun. But the bulk of what has made this Libra so happy in their life seems to have been those moments shared with people that they're very close to, the very simple moments, you're not in perfect clothes, perfect makeup, perfect hair, you don't always smell the best, you don't always have everything perfect, but those have been the most meaningful moments. And I kind of think that's more what the bulk of what Libra's life really is, and the authentic version of themselves. Yes, this Libra can walk great in both worlds, but I think, again, if we're looking at like the 80-20, 80% of Libra's best memories, I think, have been like in a different environment than what they thought they were trying to, meet a partner to live a certain quality of life. I think Libra's coming back home to their roots of who they really are and who they will be attracted to and who is coming into their life. Because this is all about preparing Libra. There is new love coming in, but it's not going to be the person Libra initially thought they were going to meet. It's somebody who is like, maybe Libra was like, oh, I want to meet somebody who's, high roller, somebody who's CEO of a company, blah, blah, blah. Instead, Libra might meet somebody at the local hardware store, and they are, very, 5 generations lived in the same small town, maybe never traveled outside of the small town, but they are so connected to a region, to the earth, to, something like that. And it could be that Libra goes, oh my God, this is my person. I just think it's going to be a shocker who their 2 of Cups is, because it's somebody who matches with who Libra is on the inside. And this whole story has been about the self-exploration of who Libra actually is. That is the key to unlocking this subconscious thing that they already know. They know that there's a new romantic partner on the horizon, but it's not just a new partner. It's the one that really matches who they truly are. So very interesting look at, Libra's own life right now. I actually really enjoyed that one. I felt like it was, this Libra is such a beautiful person, and they have such duality to them, but then they're still like the core of who Libra is. And that's who's coming to the surface right now. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up.